first step is to become familiar with the Lord's Prayer and the lightning flash. Once this practice is committed to memory and you're well versed with it, then move on to the crook and the sword. It takes a rightful king to remove the sword from the anvil. Yeshua of Nazareth, King of Israel, Lord of the flame of life. There is a variety of ways of approaching this metaphor. The king has a crown. The first Sephara, Kether, has the title of the crown, and it sits above the head of Adam Kadmon, the grand man. The Sephirothic tree is also known in some circles as the sphere of sensation. It is considered as the auric field of man. The alchemists see it as a crucible, a resort containing the matter for transmutation. When sealed hermetically, the great work can begin. This suggests one must take responsibility for one's circumstance, not blame and project out, not seek anything outside, for all exists within man. Man is in miniature all that is. I see it as the flame. The flame is the subtle body, the activity of spirit upon matter. The crown Kether is the first point where what may be termed nothing becomes something. This can be experienced by taking your point of awareness to above the crown of your head, where the sphere of Kether resides. It's approximately a foot in diameter. Vibrate the word Ahaya until you feel a subtle pressure upon your crown. The time it takes for one to experience the energy differs from person to person. It's a matter of developing the sensitivity. The word Ahaya means I am. Nothing becomes something. When nothing becomes something, it is the beginning of existence. As we go through life, we try to identify ourselves with many things, and for a time we believe we are them. Contemplate how many places you identify yourself. I am happy, I am sad, I'm mad. In reality, you are none of these things, for I am is the first, the source. You may see it in a way as the Father. Extracting the I am out of these things is a form of removing the sword from the anvil, being Lord of your kingdom. The Lord's Prayer has 10 stanzas, and each of these stanzas has a place upon the tree of life. By vibrating each stanza in its appropriate sphere, you can awaken the whole sphere of sensation. Also, you create what is called the lightning flash, or order of creation. So he drove out the man, and placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword which turned every way, to keep the way of the tree of life. This sword that turns every way is a great symbol, and any beings of a subtle nature that witness this symbol will quieten and obey. It is the order of creation, and where the order of creation is present, so too must be the Creator. Let us practice the exercise of the Lord's Prayer. Firstly, contemplate the many areas in your life where you've placed the I am. I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm a worker, I'm busy. And remove the I am from all these many things. Find the still point. Take your awareness to Ketha, the sphere above your head, and vibrate Ihaya until such times as you feel a sensation. Then vibrate the words, Our Father. Take your awareness to the left side of your head, the sphere of Hokmah, and vibrate the words, Who art in heaven. This means the macrocosm, the heavens. Take your awareness to the right side of your head, the sphere of Binah, and vibrate, Hallowed be thy name. All that you speak from this state of being is sacred. A holy name of God is a holy word. Take your awareness to your left shoulder, Hesed. Vibrate, Thy kingdom come. You will stand in holy ground. Take your awareness to your right shoulder, Gebira. Thy will shall be done. Contemplate what your will is, and that it will manifest upon the earth. Take your awareness to your solar plexus, to Parath, and vibrate on earth as it is in heaven, as above, so below. Take your awareness to your left thigh. This is the sphere of Netzah. Vibrate the words, Give us this day our daily bread. Each day we are given the day to experience life. All our experiences are our bread. It is for us to extract the nutrition from each experience. Take your awareness across to the right thigh, the sphere of Hod, and vibrate, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Here contemplate where you hold blame for others, where you blame yourself, for you can go no further until you free yourself of guilt. Next, take your awareness to your genital region, the sphere of Yesod, and vibrate, Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Here it suggests that we maintain a one-pointed focus, maintaining the center pillar. Take your awareness to your feet, the sphere of Malkuth, the kingdom, the holy ground upon which you stand, and vibrate. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Take your awareness to the crown of your head. Call the energy and vibrate Our Father. Take your awareness to the left side of your head. Contemplate the ideas of heaven, the stars, the planets. A mind that is beyond the worldly worries. The stars and the planets that radiate their rays upon the earth, influencing the events, bringing forth the herbs, the minerals, the metals, the creatures. Consider this within yourself as a mind that is most creative, not limited by the restrictions of worldly life. And when you have this, vibrate the left side of your head with whose art is in heaven. Take your awareness to the right side of your head. Contemplate the archetypal picture of Tetragrammaton as the word which we were created from. Consider this word to represent your divine self. This is the planet Saturn that rules the bones and all structures. That uncovers mysterious things, secrets. And as you hold the image of Tetragrammaton in your mind's eye, vibrate, hallowed be this name. Holy is this name that you are fashioned from. Take your awareness to your left shoulder. This is the sphere of Jupiter, the expansive regal one. As you say, "Thy kingdom come," take the crook in your left hand, cross your body and touch your right shoulder. The right shoulder is force, Mars. Mercy, Jupiter, is strengthened by force, Mars. In your right hand is the sword of power. Cross the crook and rest your hand with sword upon the left shoulder, saying, Thy will be done. Force is tempered by mercy. Drop your left hand with crook to your solar plexus, the sun, saying, on earth, then cross it with your right hand with sword, as it is in heaven. Our actions on earth are to be like that of the shepherd. Our actions of heaven are ruled by the sword of power. Drop your left hand with crook to your left hip and contemplate the nature of Venus, to be relaxed, to be loving and caring. In the morning when you first wake, bring into your heart love and look at yourself in the mirror. At evening, as you retire, do the same practice. That way you start the day and end the day with love. From here you may remember that it is your daily bread, and you may fill your day with this nourishing nectar, the nectar of God, love. Drop your right hand with sword to your right hip. This is Mercury, the mind. Forgive me of my trespasses, as I forgive those who have trespassed against me. Here, the sword of power is used to cut away all the justifications we use so we cannot let go and forgive. At the moment of Christ's death, when what he could say would be the most important thing, he said forgiveness. Forgive yourself and forgive others. Take the left hand with crook and cross it across your genitals, the moon, and say, lead me not into temptation, as the shepherd leads the flock with the crook. And deliver me from all evil. The sword crosses, the sword of power. Take your awareness to your feet. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
if you utilise the stanzas of the prayer in relationship to these spheres, it will unfold a whole lot of understanding. It's the most amazing tool that if you utilise the prayer in, say there's an issue that you're struggling with, and if you just contemplate the issue, and as you go through the stanzas and the nature of how the tree works, it answers a question. Basically, it always says, don't be stupid, drop it and get on with it. But it'll resolves it, for me anyway, sometimes it resolves it in a quite intelligent manner. Does that make sense? It's similar. So Stephen, you still use the inner wise person or not? Where you create an imaginary wise person, someone you relate to, be it Jesus or whoever, and you get a bit of an understanding where that person's coming from. If you take your issues in and see how that archetype would approach it, there's ideas that start to come that you normally wouldn't do because you're using your imagination, but you're using an archetype. So the archetype by its nature will bring to the mind useful things in sympathy with the archetype. Now the word sympathy is very important to understand. All magic works on the law of sympathy. What's sympathetic? Like homeopathy, that things are similar, so they're also sympathetic. Mm-hmm. Yeah? So if you have a photo of a flower, oftentimes a bee will come to it because it's sympathetic. They call it the law of attraction. Paracelsus, who was much smarter than the law of attraction people, called it the law of sympathy. What we're sympathetic with is like a magnet, and it draws like a bee to a flower. It'll draw the thing to it. And a lot of our sympathies are subconscious. We've got stuff, we've got issues, we've got shock, we've got whatever. Those things where we've stopped. Like if you're a child and shit's happened in a certain part of your life, when that is triggered, what often happens is a person will speak childishly or do childish, frivolous things like a child. Does that make sense? Well, that happens to us right through our life, where we cut off and tuck something away. It's tucked away, and when it's triggered, we'll respond with a similar to what we've tucked away. Yeah, get the idea? So, those subconscious is not limited to our head. It's everywhere. And if we've got issues that are running, they'll go out and they'll seek situations that are sympathetic with those archetypes. And that will create a set of circumstances so that we can believe the stories we've told ourselves. Do you understand? I can try and make it clear.
So is that kind of like in society, where people will get their morning coffee and everyone will go and get their coffee and they'll all be kind of like the same?
Well, it's more like if you've got, let's say you've been abused, or you had parents, somebody tells you you're an idiot, right? But you're not an idiot, but as a child, you're pretty, you take that stuff on board, yeah? And having that script that inside yourself that you're an idiot, when it needs to be re-energized, because it's all wheels, when it needs to be re-energized, it goes out, and there'll be something will happen where there's an event that comes back with the signature, I'm an idiot. Yeah. And you believe that, that belief is energized, and you create your world from those beliefs. So, you know, that's what we're sympathetic with. People that have got television advertising uses sympathy all the time. You know, it depicts a particular consciousness or anyway, group of people. It's got a name. Socio-economic group that they want to target. So, like particularly with beer and advertising, they come and they show the certain guy down the pub how he talks, what their sympathies are like, what they like and dislike, how they relate about certain. They use all that to hook into the sympathies of these people, or all of us if they can. And if you have no detachment to your hooks and sympathies, you're in there. But if you're the drawer of the line, you're out of there. So,
and we see that very obviously in politics.
Oh, that's the name of the game, isn't it?
Where they push all the buttons. The one that you've got John Howard, who's probably never played a game of cricket in his life, trying to bowl because he wants to.
Yeah, he can't bowl 3 foot.
Because he wants to. Well, he's only 2 foot, so.
He'll probably stretch it a bit, I think.
But it's like, why would they be doing that? It's because he wants people who have a sympathy with cricket to have a good opinion of him.
Yeah, what do they say? You win the hearts and minds, you've won the battle.
But how do we or how do people get hoodwinked? You're saying it's through these sympathies. Through these sympathies.
Yeah.
And it's through the sympathies that are unconscious, that are unaddressed, that we don't even realise we have, that there's no detachment of it to be able to have any choice.
We believe, like all the beer drinkers that sit there in the pub and buy one or two, I don't drink, but that have that, they all sit at the pub and they've all got basically as a collective archetype, they all have a certain attitude towards things. They all talk about it in the pub and blah, blah, blah. And that's a whole archetype of consciousness. And they all fit in that archetype of consciousness. So to manipulate that group, you just got to get what they're sympathetic with and just lead them. Lead them to wherever you want. And they'll buy whatever beer that fits the sympathy. That's just the same with the whole process. That's actually magic. That's founded on the laws of magic. And they bloody know it.
Now, going to nature to maybe a purer version of that, where like say birds who are like trying to attract a mate, and they do like a dance and they have the shiny feathers and they build the impressive nest and they do all this kind of stuff. That's kind of like advertising, but the pure natural form.
Yeah.
So there is a place for that.
Well, that's just a law.
Yeah.
It's just a law. It's the law itself is not good or bad. That's in us.
So it's what's it serving.
Yeah.
That's what's like.
It's like a knife, The knife can cut a nice piece of bread, or you can stab someone. It's not the knife. The knife's fine. The same with.
So guns don't kill people. People do.
Yeah, that's right. Well, they occasionally go off. But, why I'm suggesting that is that if we create sympathies with things like wisdom, like the inner wise person or whatever, we keep working on those sympathies, then we tend to, if nothing else, draw ideas to the mind, which is not limited to you, it's everything. We draw things to us, ideas and so forth to us, that are sympathetic. And as we do that, that creates its own journey. Yeah? Its own Tao, its own current. Now, the thing is, when you create a sympathy or a current, a Tao, the good thing is, you can just stop any time you like. You know, if you want the Dow of a new car, which is a waste of the Dow, but still, and you get right to the point of going to the salesman, and it's all flowing and all that, you don't have to go, well, I've done all this, I've got to have it. You can just go, no, and walk away. There's no law, there's just your choice. Yeah? It's that simple. The more you connect to the drawer of the line, the more choice you have. Because it's not the higher ideal or what's driving down below in the instincts that has choice. It's the line drawing, because it can choose either side. Yeah?
So if one thing that I've used in the past is if I've got an idea, I'm starting to pursue it, if there's a flow that seems to support that, where it starts to happen easily and the right person comes along and the right thing comes along and it all starts to unfold itself, then my reading of that is, I'm in tune, I'm in flow, I'm in harmony with the current of things. There's
It's got its own life.
There's economy in it.
Yeah.
Whereas there's other times where, sometimes you just have to push through barriers, but there's other times where you just go, this isn't happening, I'm out of step here, I'm out of time here, I'm trying to force something to happen that's just really not. And the harder I push
Sometimes you jump off and all the sets are coming.
So, but what you're saying is a little different now, which is that even if you set wheels in motion and there is a flow, you might change your mind and walk away from it.
Yeah, you can do that.
I guess it's a different paradigm, because what I'm looking at is seeing the flow as a, there's my will, there's God's will. That's saying, oh, well, God's will is God's cool with this, or life is okay with this. But to choose to walk away from it once that flow is happening, I'm now not seeing the flow as showing me kind of what's true or what's, worth pursuing or not.
But again, if we come back to where you are as a person, you're not in the pub identifying with the sympathies of the pub. So you're right out of that ball game. Yeah? And we're talking about above the line, below the line. So that gets you in a whole different paradigm. The soul in itself creates its own flow. And the more we hook into the soul consciousness, the more that flow directs us to wherever. It doesn't mean to say it's an easy journey, because
usually it's hard. But yeah.
We grow from our own suffering, our own mistakes. What I'm saying here is that when we understand the technology of how to create that current, that Tao, doesn't mean to say that what we're looking at is like the Tao it's in harmony, it's simple, it's easy. Like the Tao of a river. You think about it, you jump in a river. Now, if you're going to swim against the current, it's not happening. So it's wise to know see where the current's going. Jump in at the right spot so you can get across and get to where you want to go. Use the current to your advantage. Don't just dive in and try and swim against it. So the Tao of the river is go with it. Yeah? Now that's the spiritual thing. It's a thing in harmony. Just that ideology takes us away from the delusion of the new car, the this, the that. But the dynamic of how that works is totally independent of whatever it is that high ideal or low ideal. It just is a dynamic.